Hi, and welcome to the Hollywood Outsider. I am joined by Mr. Scott Clark.
Hey, how you doing, Aaron?
Justin Macumber.
What's up?
And Brian Williams. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm super.
I'm doing fantastic.
Super.
I like how
Thanks
we
for
talk like we
asking.
haven't been talking for the last 15 minutes.
I know.
That's cool. We are gonna talk about movies today. That's the goal. We're all gonna talk about what we've seen, what we've been thinking about seeing, or what we want to see. That's kind of what we're gonna talk about. Brief rundown of the format today is gonna be we're gonna talk about news. We're gonna review Fright Night and Conan the Barbarian, which have both just come out. We're going to look at some of the upcoming releases. Scott's got a little bit for you a little later on before we take a trailer break. And then we're going to talk about our weekly topic, which we're calling From the Outside In, which this week it's going to be what are the things that either drive you to go to a theater to see something, and what are the things that keep you the fuck away from it. And then we're also going to talk about DVDs. And there's not much coming out, but we will have our Flashback DVDs kind of to give you some recommendations about some of the stuff that's coming out. Does that pretty much cover it? Anybody have any questions, concerns, thoughts? Sweet. We're moving forward.
Can I sharpen my pencil?
Yes. I hope everybody wrote all that down because that's a lot of
You
shit.
go to the bathroom.
First thing we're going to do, we're going to go straight into news. We're going to talk about some of the trailers that come out. First off, anybody see Ghost Rider 2?
I saw the trailer. I actually told you about it.
Awesome.
What did you... Seriously?
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved that trailer.
He pissed fire.
Yes.
I know.
Part of the reason why I loved that trailer.
All that made me think of is maybe you should wear a condom.
It burns when he pees.
Yeah.
Oh, was he going to wear an asbestos condom? That's not safe for him or the lady.
Why
yeah,
did...
it looks a lot darker than the first one, but
It looks like the same fucking movie. I don't understand why it looks so different.
Yeah, I'm hesitant. I'm holding my reservation to make my decision on it till
I'm a
later.
little I'm a little more excited than Aaron, obviously, as I think it looked better than I was expecting. Because I was stoked about the first one and was severely disappointed when I went and saw it.
Mhm.
I'm not as much of a Nicolas Cage hater as a lot of people are out there. So
It's got nothing to do with Nicolas Cage. It's the movie. First one sucked. They shouldn't even call it
hair.
Well, yeah, but my
That's where I
his
hate
lack thereof that he refuses to acknowledge.
my argument with that is
I'm not losing it.
that the first Hulk movie sucked too, and they rebooted it with a different actor, different director, and everything like that, and it was a much better movie.
That's cool. This is not the same scenario. This is the same guy and the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Lame-ass
I wish
character.
I would be happier if they had used a different actor, not because I hate Nicolas Cage like everybody else in the world does, but I just would have liked to see it rebooted with a completely different character or a different actor.
I really don't think everybody hates him, to be honest with you. I don't, because otherwise he wouldn't keep making movies.
Dude, he's the Nickelback of the actors.
He's the Nickelback?
Seriously, like no.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, when the guy is on, he's really on. But when he's off, he is really off.
Yeah, but how long has it been since he's been on?
A couple years
It's been a little while.
since Fuck
Yeah,
Off.
but then again,
or
that makes him just do that much more for a really good film. And this film has completely different writers. It's got completely different directors. So the only thing that it really has in common with the first movie is the actor and the name. And the actor can bring it, I think, when he's... I will say, I liked Drive Angry quite a bit. And for me, this feels like a Drive Angry-ish type movie. It looks a bit silly. It looks really over the top. It looks gritty. I liked, was it Crank and Crank 2 that these two guys directed beforehand.
You
so I
liked
think
Crank
they've
2?
got a really good kinetic vibe to them that's going to marry well with this film and make it, seem a much different movie than what we saw before. I'm really excited to see what they did with it.
Did you really like Crank 2, though? Sincerely?
I liked it not as much as the first because it was kind of just doing the same thing over again. But I like Statham and I like that style enough that I still enjoyed the whole experience.
I'm with Justin, not quite to the level because I am excited about seeing it, but I won't be seeing it in the theater. I won't pay $10 for it.
For Ghost Rider 2?
Yeah,
And I doubt he will be pissing in the movie. I think that was strictly a little something for the trailer.
I disagree. I think that will be in the movie.
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, they had a line with the kids asking about it. That's going to attract a lot of people to see that movie.
Yes.
It could be.
Yeah,
And if it is, I hope he's pissing on somebody. It melts their face off.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Makes you wonder what the jizz is like. I mean,
Moving
man.
on.
jeez.
Wow.
Flaming for her pleasure.
One of the other trailers that came out was Underworld Awakening, which is Kate Beckinsale slaps on the leather again, and apparently it still fits. She's coming back.
Fuck yes.
She skipped the last movie, so she's back. I would love to be under her world. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, God, you're not lying.
You've been waiting all week to use that.
Yes, I have. I'm serious. As soon as that came on, that's the first thing I thought of.
As hot as she looks in that leather, and I think she's genuinely a beautiful woman. But I was tapped out of
Look
this.
at you trying to be all PC all of a sudden.
You want me to go
She
grab
is
some
a beautiful
rum?
lady.
No, she's like gorgeous, but I'm just tapped out on that whole universe. I don't know. The first one was interesting because it was werewolves versus vampires, and then the storyline just got goofy to me, and I just don't care anymore.
Fair enough.
And 3D. Come on, can we stop?
Everything's in 3D, man. They make everything in 3D. Brian, you want to add anything? Are you a big fan of those?
I'm not a big fan, but I'll go see it. You know, I'm kind of like Scott, where it's kind of gotten a little bit hokey. You know, towards the at least by the third movie, if not the second one. But I'm a sucker for it. So, and you know, I'll just I'll give it a shot.
Also coming up, and I was actually really surprised by this trailer. I heard the title and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I had no desire, and then I watched the trailer and it actually looked interesting, which is Machine Gun Preacher. Gerald Butler is a former drug-dealing biker who finds God and becomes a crusader for the Sudanese children who've forced to become soldiers.
Gerard Butler.
Gerard.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Gerard.
This is not Sparta.
Mr. Movie Podcast host.
Sorry, I am sorry. I don't hang out with Gerard. God
Well, I
damn
did,
it.
and he would not like that.
He wouldn't hang out with you.
He wouldn't hang out with
No.
me. That's true. But anyway, it starts off kind of like it looks kind of cheesy, and then it gets to be a somewhat serious-looking drama. I actually thought it looks pretty interesting. Anybody?
Yeah, his accent's actually not bad either, which is a first for him because usually his American accent, it sounds like complete shit. But in this one, I actually kind of bought it.
Brian?
Yeah. It looks really good. It's something. It looks something different. You know, it's a drama, but it looks like it's got a lot of action, which is a plus. And it's a good story. You know, we love a good kind of a comeback story, a good redemption story, and this looks like it's right up there with it. So, yeah, I definitely want to see this.
Man, I hate to be the downer in the group, but I started watching this trailer and got excited at the beginning of the trailer. The whole used to be a badass and now he's turned preacher, and I like that idea of it. But then we get to Sudan and everything, and I just kind of lose a little bit of interest. I don't know. I'm kind of tapped out on the whole third world country movie. I understand bad stuff's going on over there and that kind of thing, and I feel bad about it.
I don't give a shit. I want to watch my cable. And
No, it's not that. It's that I go to a movie to escape. I don't want to go to a movie to feel sad and then maybe a little hurrah at the end. But I don't know. Even if it's a happy ending,
I like going for happy endings.
Yeah. But
I don't have to go to the theater for that.
I don't know. I like I said, I like the initial concept of a hardened person that that finds God and becomes a good person and then wants to do good, but do it here. I don't know.
Fair enough. Another one, which is Puncture. Captain America is Chris Evans is a drug addicted lawyer who takes on a health supply organization. Actually, looks interesting. It looks like that's his. I don't know if it's his Oscar movie, but it's his claim for a dramatic role as opposed to all the generic commercial stuff he's been doing. What do you guys
Is
think?
his shirt going to stay on the whole time?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's if he's going for that Oscar kind of credibility, he's going to have to start taking roles that don't require, a little pec flexing.
Well, he had just the suspenders on in the opening scene or whatever, so it's in there.
Oh, that's right. You're right. It is.
Of course, I noticed that.
All right, the next movie then.
I'm glad you have to point it out.
Chris Evans might have made my man crush list. I'm not gonna lie. Good looking fella.
Every episode, you just seem gayer and gayer and gayer.
Oh, stop!
I'm waiting for the time when you just come in with your pants off. You're like,
let's do this.
Yeah,
let's do this, bitch.
I can't wait to grab that microphone.
I don't know. I'm almost as tapped out on lawyer movies as I am on third world country movies.
We don't get many lawyer movies anymore.
Well,
legal thrillers, we hardly ever get those. The last one, Lincoln Lawyer. Before that, I can't remember the last one.
Well, and that was going to be my example. That's one that proved me wrong because I went into that movie just because my wife wanted to see it, and I was like, this is going to have to do something different to interest me, and it did. I like Lincoln Lawyer, so I'm hoping that happens in this one. Hopefully,
McConaughey took his shirt off slow in that one, as opposed to so fast.
All right.
Next one is, or the last one on the list is Trespass, which, this is funny. Nicolas Cage and Nicole Kidman are a couple who get kidnapped and held for ransom, and apparently it looks in the trailer like it's Nick Cage's brother. And it's like, this is what happens when winning the Oscar goes bad, as far as I'm concerned. It looked bad. It looks just cheesy bad. This is where you see the bad Nick Cage.
It could be fun, but it's a concept that's just been done. I mean, it's a little bit of Panic Room, a little bit of Hostage.
And Nicole Kidman. It's like, how far have you fallen?
I know.
Seriously,
She
you're Oscar
still
bait
looks
lady.
Good though. She still looks gorgeous.
I don't care about that. I'm talking about her acting. I mean, she is an Oscar caliber actress, like Miss Serious, in the cheesiest looking kidnap thriller. I mean, Nicolas Cage makes sense. He should be there.
I don't buy that she married him in that, because he looks like a complete nerd in that trailer. Like,
apparently, you don't know any hot chicks that marry the rich guy. You know, where I come from, that happens a lot. What about you guys? Brian, you're not saying anything.
Yeah, it looks all right. It's, I take it back. It doesn't. It looks like The Ref, but not funny.
I thought of The Ref. I swear to God, I was thinking that when I saw the trailer, and I thought I was going to get made fun of for bringing that up. So now I feel better.
Why would you get made fun of?
Look,
Really?
if you get made fun of, it's not because you bring up The Ref.
It's not. It's going to be because you remember the gay content of everything you've ever seen.
I have no idea what
Okay,
you're talking
Justin,
about.
do you want to see that?
No.
Really?
It didn't do anything for me either way.
Because you're kind of the most commercial-friendly guy I know.
Yeah, but
I mean
it
that in a
needs to
good
have
way.
some kind of hook to get me in it, whether it's a comic book hook or a sci-fi hook or just a over-the-top, shit blowing up everywhere hook. This doesn't look like it's got any of those. It's just your average film. And I mean, I'm not going to hate on it, but I don't want to see it either.
Okay, fair enough. Next piece of news is Brian De Palma. This is kind of a big deal to me. I'm a huge Brian De Palma fan, especially from the 80s. He's returning to directing in The Key Man. There's another movie called The Key Man that's actually out, but it's not the same thing. It's a thriller about a man who's targeted by U.S. agents because his body contains answers to national secrets. It sounds more like something along his lines that he used to do, that he's kind of gotten away from, and he hasn't really made a good movie in quite some time. I would dare say since Mission Impossible 1. I don't know what you guys, if you're fans of his or not.
That one was even kind of iffy.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh,
You didn't like the first Mission
It's my
Impossible?
least favorite of the Mission Impossible
The
movies.
first one?
You prefer the
Yes.
one where he's riding around with doves in his hairs? And
I prefer the third one.
Okay, I'll give you that one. But the
And
second one?
I actually think John Woo's, I find it on certain levels more entertaining than the first one, yes.
Oh, I disagree so
I just, John Woo and Tom Cruise doing what they both do well, it worked for me. I mean, I can recognize that it is not as good a piece of cinema as the first one was, but just on a purely, emotional and gut check level, I enjoyed it more.
Wow.
Boom, done. Drop the mic, walking away.
I like how all Brian said was, wow. That's all he had. That's all he had. Okay. Well, apparently that's really only relevant news to me, it seems like. So.
Yeah, well, that movie's not supposed to come out for like another 2 or 3 years,
No,
right?
this is what we call movie news. See, this is news about shit that's happening in movies. So, it doesn't have to come out right now. Shut up.
Right here.
Kitty likes to scratch.
Somebody's touchy.
Sequels. There's a few sequels that have been announced. Sex and the City 3 is in early stages, according to Sarah Jessica.
Thank God.
Will that series just die? Seriously?
Fuck,
Just
please.
die of chlamydia.
Probably. That's very possible.
I don't know. Half the women in America are looking forward to this. So
I don't know. I know
But
one.
But didn't Sex and the City 2 bomb?
it bombed here, but it did really well overseas. So
Goddamn overseas people.
in the country where they went and visited it?
what's that?
In the country where they went and visited it in the movie?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they did hundreds of millions of dollars overseas. So they did just shy of 100 million here, I think, which made it not a huge hit, but it made it okay. Put it this way, it more than made its money back, and they realized that they can make some more money off it. There's more blood in that turnip. Thor 2 is set for July 2013.
Is it true that Kenneth Branagh is not going to be directing that one?
That is true. He is not.
Such a shame.
It is.
Boo.
I think. What is? Basically, Brian's here to supply noises throughout the podcast. Chime in, dude.
Guy.
Chime in. Go ahead. It's all yours, Brian. Say something.
I thought he did a really good job. I'd like to see what he'd do again with kind of all the other backstory between the Avengers and the other the other sequels that's coming out. Just kind of like to see what he'd do with it. I'm a big fan of his, so I'd like to see him do Thor again. But
Now this is not. I'm sorry.
I'm sure they're going to find somebody who's going to do a hell of a job. They, kind of like what you talked about a podcast or two ago. It's Marvel does a really good job of picking their personnel to do the movies. So it'll be. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Now this is coming out after the Avengers movie, right? Because that's
yeah. It's Avengers just comes out next year.
Right. I mean, I find that interesting. Are we going to see more Iron Man movies? We're
going to see Iron Man 3. There's no word on Captain America 2 yet, but they do have 2 slots in 2014, so it might be one of them. But yeah, there's going to be more. Trust me, they're not just going to let it die. They're doing genius stuff right now. They got it down. Mm-hmm. Another one that's announced that supposedly is going to be worked on this year, possibly for release next year, but because Robert Rodriguez can do it, is Sin City 2. They've been talking about this forever. I really hope it happens because the more years that go by, the more I think it's never going to happen. But if ever there's a movie I thought should get a sequel because there's more stories to tell, I thought it was Sin City.
I need to go rewatch the original. That's an awesome
movie.
Yeah,
Good.
But that I'm kind of on the fence with that because I really like the first one. I would really love to see a sequel, but I'm kind of thinking that we're just about like the window's closed on that, just about almost anyway.
I think it's really close. I agree with you. They need to get on it, or it's not going to happen.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, because it's not relevant anymore. So
I'm not sure if Frank Miller should be directing any of it though, because after The Spirit,
no, he should not. He shouldn't even be allowed in the room. Honestly,
Ava Mendez's ass was the only good thing about that movie, but it was a really good thing.
It is. She's why I love Training Day. You don't know what I mean, do you, Scott?
I've seen it. I don't remember.
You should go rewatch it. You'll understand and you'll appreciate it. The last sequel is Scary Movie 5.
What?
Everybody rejoice. Clap your hands.
I saw the first one, and that was the last one.
I saw 1 through 4, and they were.
You're the reason why this movie.
No. I rented them.
Sure, you did. You probably own them all.
I saw the first one in the theater because it was funny at the
collection.
time. And it was a guilty pleasure for a while, but by the time I got around the 4th one, I was like, all right, these are becoming the solid movies of comedies.
I want no part of this.
Yeah.
I don't either. I'm kind of ashamed that I've even seen.
Remember a couple years ago when those there was a string of those like epic movie and superhero movie and they're just churning them out like every 3 months. It seemed like
they still do. Vampires suck.
Yeah. Like who's seeing all these spoof movies that
stupid 19-year-olds who have no taste whatsoever?
Obviously, because they're not funny. They're not Naked Gun. They're not Airplane. They're not funny. So, I mean, that ship has sailed. Moving on, Pixar's Brave and the Avengers footage was screened at the the D23 Expo. That's an expo that Disney puts on. Brave is Pixar's first female protagonist, and it looks really good. I mean, obviously, I can't really do it justice on radio. The Avengers footage was just a clip, and obviously, it's just teaser. Looks really good, but the Pixar footage looked. I'm not a big Pixar fan, but it looks really impressive.
What? How could you not be a Pixar fan?
I mean, I like them.
That's like saying I have no soul.
I don't. I'm not a big cartoon guy. You know why? Because my kids are all grown up now. Or just about.
I have no kids.
I've
and
never
I
had any
love
kids.
Pixar movies.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm not a big cartoon guy.
Where's your inner kid, man?
Buried in the backyard.
Apparently.
My wife has it in a
communist.
box that she lets come out and play every now and then when she's not looking. That's pretty much where it is. Have you guys seen this? I don't know if you're able to find it or not, but it's
no, I
hard
haven't
to find
seen the footage for either of these.
But I'm really looking forward to it. To have their first female protagonist is going to be interesting. And they are going to have a new Toy Story short in front of the Muppet movie. So Woody and Buzz are supposedly going to make a little return. Why do you look confused, Scott?
In front of like it's going to be the short before the Muppet movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
I read
Pixar does for every movie that you say you watch?
No, I know, but when you said in front of Muppets, I was picturing that, was it Mystery Science Theater, where like there's a row of Muppets watching, or
Oh my God.
that's all I can picture in my head.
Wow.
There's a Toy Story short shown in front of Muppets. That's all it's
It's like having a little kid.
Aaron, check his drink for
Jesus
liquor
Christ.
again. Christ.
Oh, and here's I gotta move on before I get.
But maybe you could pitch that to the studio one day.
Yeah, why don't we work on that one? Here's Scott Clark's idea. Here's a couple, just one quick tidbit for Justin and I. It probably won't matter to many people, but if you're a fan of Joss Whedon, it will. Charisma Carpenter and James Marsters are going to guest on an episode of Supernatural this season together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just awesome. If you're a fan of Joss
That'll be
Whedon, that's a big
the third
deal.
and the fourth Buffy characters that'll have appeared on Supernatural, right? Because they had the girl who played Harmony was a vampire,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the girl who played Willow's girlfriend before she...
Oh, Amber.
Amber.
Yep.
Yeah, Amber Benson.
Yep.
She was on there, too, so they're really picking up the ones, the good ones, too, because I like Charisma Carpenter for more than just her fantastic body. And James Marsters is really good, too.
I really like her fantastic body, too.
Have you seen the Playboy she was in?
What? No.
You didn't know? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She did an
I've
initial
got it.
Playboy.
I've got it. I mean, I've heard about it.
Okay.
I've actually, I will tell you this much. I've bought exactly one Playboy in my life. And I will tell you, she happened to be on it. So
And it is laminated every page.
it is now.
Okay, before you two guys start breathing heavy and breaking out into
Too late.
nasty sweats and stuff,
Too late. Guess what I'm doing as soon as this is over.
what else is on the agenda?
Supernatural is a great show, though. Just
It is.
as my final comment on this, Supernatural, an amazingly good show, and I'm glad to see them bringing on more people that'll hopefully bring more attention to it.
Ridley Scott is producing and directing a new iteration of Blade Runner. Supposedly, it's not going to involve Harrison Ford, though.
I will be honest, I had not seen Blade Runner up until about less than 6 months ago, so I watched it for the first time.
Okay.
Because everyone just raved about this movie, and dude, I was bored out of my mind.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not lying. I was
Dude, you hate movies. I don't know why you're here. You don't you don't like movies. I
Maybe
decided.
you'd have been holding a controller.
I didn't bring it
You
up.
liked it more.
I did not bring it up.
No, but it's true.
And the screen could have thrown up little A's and X's and right
Well,
triggers.
You know,
You could feel like he was
Scott,
going-
I've got to come out of the closet on this one myself. I really don't care for it. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I can't see the just absolute fascination that a lot of people have with this movie.
Thank you. I
Which
appreciate
version
that.
did you
I-
watch? Because there were up to million versions.
Well,
of
I
it.
did watch the
Well, I
director's
watched
cut or
one that came
whatever.
out, 30 years ago, but then I've seen like an extended version, and that wasn't any better.
Touche, Brian.
It's all right. I mean, it's a decent movie. It's not bad. It's just I don't get the huge fascination with it. I mean, because the people that are just die hard about this movie are very similar to the Star Wars fans or the Lord of the Rings fans or Star Trek guys or whatever.
I think when it comes to Blade Runner,
maybe it's
really,
a notch down from those,
no, you're
but they're
right.
almost as fanatical about it.
I
And
think
I just don't get it.
It comes from in the 80s, whatever. That movie was a total flop. No, it didn't make any money. Everybody said it shouldn't have been made. Da 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 da. And then a small cult found it and basically cultivated it and made it breathe so that it's lived on this long. Same thing with Evil Dead, same kind of audience. So that's why it's kind of like they see it as their movie. They kept it alive. They made it breathe. And now,
Well,
almost like Tron, too. I mean, Tron's very similar in that respect.
Well, but I think it's a sci-fi movie that it had higher aspirations than just, we're going to make a sci-fi film, which, for years and years, sci-fi movies and fantasy movies too, they were just silly movies that were all about cramming in some special effects and some shit blown up. And then that was really about it. But Blade Runner tried for the drama, tried for the noir. It tried to be more than just
Space opera.
a space opera movie. And I think it succeeded to a larger degree. And I think that's kind of why it's got this cult following to it. It's like 2001 in that it takes the genre and tries to do something perhaps higher minded or more artistic with it than just your common movie. But that said, I have no problem with him coming back and doing something new with Blade Runner, even if Harrison Ford is not involved. I don't hold it so wholly that the idea makes me just want to, rip out hair.
I'm intrigued by a remake because I think the story was interesting, but I think it could be done better.
I don't think it's going to be a remake. I think it's going to be like a new concept twist of the same kind of story.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what it seems like from what I read. Next piece is specifically for Scott, because if he doesn't think of a video game during the podcast, he can't sit still. But Ben Affleck is in talks to star and direct Line of Sight, which is apparently about an elite squadron of commandos transporting important cargo while handling a global threat. And apparently, this is the important part, the shooting style is currently, very specifically, first person. Like a video game, like Call of Duty and Halo and whatnot. And one of the writers is Peter O'Brien, who wrote Halo Reach.
So like they're going to do what they did in the Doom movie where they have like
for the whole movie. Except I hope better than that, because that was pretty interesting.
Well, that was like a minute and a half scene in Doom, but
right. But yeah, that's as of right now, it's written that way that it's going to be entirely in first person.
The entire film is going to be.
Can I make a plea that Ben Affleck?
Well, District 9 kind of did that, but go ahead.
Can I make a plea that Ben Affleck stays behind the camera? Because I just can't stand Ben Affleck.
Seriously? You didn't like him in The Town?
Not really.
Really?
I mean, he's all right. I mean, that was okay, but the last probably decade before that, he just sucks.
I'll give you the last decade. Reindeer Games and Phantoms aren't exactly.
Reindeer Games is so bad.
Ben Affleck was a Bob in Phantoms, yo.
He has definitely proven himself as a director, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. When it comes to stories and like the writing and the directing, I think he's very good, and I gave him all the props for that. But I cannot take him or the movie seriously when I'm staring at his goofy ass trying to act all dramatic and shit. I just can't take it.
Tell us how you really feel. I'm not sure what you're saying. So you're not going to be lining up for this? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I'm curious about it. Because the first person view makes me a little curious about it, but it also scares me because all I see is Cloverfield all over again.
Yeah,
so.
And you weren't a fan. What do you think, Scott?
Say, that Cloverfield, I love Cloverfield, but I like that not because it was in first person, but because it was,
But what do you think about the first person thing?
Obviously, I'm the video game guy, so anything that's gonna mention or bring to light video games, I'm for, but I just don't feel like watching a whole movie in first person. I mean, I'll be interested to see how it turns out and what it looks like, but I don't know how you would market that. If you're going to market a trailer that's going to be all in first person,
I'm serious. I would dare say that District 9 was mostly in first person.
Well, the first part of it was on camera, like it was a news.
Half of it was interviews with other people.
Right.
But
another quarter of it was not first person.
I'm just saying, I think there's a way you can do it if you have a good director, and I think he is a good director. So it's interesting to say the least. If he even takes it. I mean, he's in talks. Doesn't mean he'll do it.
Well, and plus the script and the story for Halo Reach was praised very highly.
Mm-hmm.
So the story could be good, but
we'll see.
I want to see more before I make a proper judgment.
Keep an eye on Line of Sight. The last piece of news before we go on to reviews is Paradise Lost, which they're making into a movie, which is Milton's poem, has been cast. Bradley Cooper is going to be Lucifer, which I think is awesome. Ben Walker is Michael, Archangel Michael.
Who's he?
I don't know who he is. He's Ben Walker. Benjamin Walker, of the Idaho Walkers. I don't know. Walker, Texas Ranger.
He wasn't the guy in The Mechanic, was he?
No, that's Ben Foster.
Watson.
That's Ben Foster.
Okay. Foster?
Okay.
Watson?
Ben Foster.
Whatever.
Foster. I don't know who Ben Watson is. He's probably a guy who didn't get the job. Diman Hunsu, I can never say his name right. Diman Hunsu? Dijon Mustard is he's the angel of death. I'm very interested in what they're going to do. It's Milton's work. I'm really kind of curious how they're going to make a movie out of that, and if it's going to be any good. Because the closest thing I can think of is Constantine, really. So I don't really know what they're going to do here.
Constantine wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that good.
Wasn't? Well, you made it sound like it was.
No, I'm saying that's the only thing that's the closest thing that's been
Style-wise.
decent to this kind of plot, I guess. The heavens and shit.
I kind of like Constantine.
Okay. You want to fight right now?
No.
We'll do it. Why don't you
Is
drink?
this a movie Bradley Cooper might have left the mask for?
The Crow, you
Not
mean?
the Crow. Yeah, the Crow.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he just left because it wasn't what he agreed to when he signed on to it.
A piece of trivia. This is not the first film to have an African American playing the Angel of Death. What was another movie that did it? Aaron.
I don't know. I don't like being on the spot. What? I get
Exorcist 3, Legion.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Had a kind of a dreamy sequence up in heaven with a bunch of angels, and the Angel of Death was played by a basketball player, as a matter of fact, but
Kareem
I don't
Abdul-Jabbar?
remember who.
Kareem? Was it Kareem?
No.
No, that was Airplane.
I wish it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, that was a good movie too, though.
From what I've heard about this movie, though, is there's going to be a lot of it is going to be basically a whole lot of battles with the different factions of angels and stuff. So there's talk that it's possibly being 3D, of course.
Are you kidding me?
So
So
if it's
God will be
filmed
going
in-
at you.
If this
3D.
is filmed in 3D, then I think it would actually be pretty cool. But
Why?
you've got whatever. You got this sky full of angels that are just fighting to the
You
death,
wanted it to be like a
and
Michael Bay movie and shit with like angels diving at the camera and shit
I
and
didn't say I
exploding.
wanted it to be that way. I'm just saying that's what the stuff I've read about it. That's kind of what they're portraying it as.
Line
You
of
know?
Sight would be an interesting experiment with doing a first-person 3D, because you would think of any movie, a movie told in a first-person perspective, 3D would almost be a natural fit for that.
Yeah, but what,
Just an idea.
what about the Jesus movie? You think there should be 3D for that?
Nah, I mean, that doesn't do anything for me personally.
I don't want Bible classes coming at me. That's just,
Well, from what I've understood, it's like it's not so much a preaching at you movie as it's similar to how Clash of the Titans is to mythology. It's not
loosely
telling-
based.
Loosely
Loosely
based. It's using the subject matter for the movie. It's not trying to give a message. It's just using this, using the story as, as the plot. It's not trying to give you a deeper meaning or preach to you or convert you or anything like that. It's just showing, oh, hey, here's this battle that that went on between Archangel Michael and Lucifer, and here's what happened. That's basically the gist of it.
All right, well, we'll check it out. We'll find out shortly. We're going to move on to reviews. First one is one that Justin and I both saw, which is Fright Night. Just came out this past weekend. Didn't do very well, but we'll get to that in a second. The basic plot of the movie is Charlie Brewster is played by Anton. How do you say his name? Yelchin?
Yelchin.
Yelchin, thank you. He's your typical American teenager. He's grown up a nerd. Now he wants to be a jock to impress his delicious little girlfriend, Amy. He's even shunned
that's
his
creepy.
dude. See it? She is delicious. You would love to have a snack cake. He's even
Oh
shunned
my
his
God,
closest
who are
friends. He chastised his chastised friend Ed ends up blackmailing him into looking for another one of their friends who's disappeared. And that's when Charlie starts realizing that his next door neighbor, Jerry, they don't actually call him Jerry Dandridge like in the original, but his name's Jerry, is a vampire. And not like the glimmering romantic variety. They actually call him the shark from Jaws. After a little bit of cat and mouse between Jerry and Charlie kind of goes and gets a magician and the self-renowned vampire expert, Michael Vincent, or Peter Vincent. I don't know who Michael Vincent is, 80s actor, who's played by Doctor Who's David Tennant. And the two kind of go into this like night of hell. Stop laughing at me, fucker. I'm reading this, all right? I thought it was a huge fan of the original. Huge fan of the original. I really thought it was a nice. It took enough of the original to be called a remake, but they did enough different things to make it its own movie. That's kind of how I saw it. I thought it was really good. Colin Farrell rocked it, as far as I'm concerned. He owned that movie. The kid, Anton Yelchin, whatever. He's pretty good. Everybody else is kind of...
This guy from Knocked Up, right?
Was he in Knocked Up? I know he was in Star Trek. He played Chekhov in Star Trek.
Oh, that's not who I'm thinking of.
Probably not. What'd you think, Justin?
I really, really, really enjoyed it. I went in with pretty low expectations because from the trailers, it just didn't have enough of the vibe from the first movie to convince me that it was going to work. as any kind of a remake. And you're right, it borrows enough from the first one to earn the remake status, but it brings enough new things to the table to really make it its own film. And I think the only character that really didn't do anything for me was Evil Ed. Fortunately, he got better later on in the movie, and I'm not going to spoil why. So he got enjoyable, but all in all, we're going to the $1 to $10 scale. I'd give it an easy $8 to go see it. I want to see it again. I had a really, really good time watching it. And you're right, Colin Farrell owned the shit out of that movie.
He did. And you almost kind of feel bad because at the end, at the end of these kind of movies always ends up like a special effects extravaganza to some degree. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, you're kind of sad. A part of me got sad because I'm like, oh, I know I'm not going to see much of Colin Farrell after this. Because his moment was kind of done, and it's like, oh, he's big vampire now.
But he went out like a champ.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I mean, that was not a wussy ending to that film. It was really cool, really well done. And it ended in a way I didn't quite see coming. But there was definitely one moment, probably a quarter of the way through it, that almost blew me out of my chair.
Which, is it anything spoilery or?
When he's leaving Jerry's house.
Oh, yes. That is
I was like, oh my God!
Excellent twist. You can't spoil it, but I'm telling you, I know what he's talking about. It was a great moment.
It plays into the ending of the movie, too. So.
And absolutely. And you end up actually at one point saying, oh, fuck yeah. And then, oh shit, that just happened.
Huh. So, but I'm really glad that they went and made him a monstrous vampire. And there are moments when you see him when he looks like a fucking monster out of any horror dream you may have. He's not, your slicked back kind of brooding vampire. He definitely hulks out and just slaughters fuckers, yes. And it's really nice.
And he plays it so smooth. He plays it like single white female. He doesn't play it like the monster. I mean, he plays it like he's just pissed. And
when he needs to be smooth, he can be smooth, but when he needs to get nasty.
Yes. My favorite line was, all right, you guys go on. I'll catch up to you later. And you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if you remember that. It's great scene. He's got a lot of charisma. I think it's sad that the movie didn't do better.
It's a shame.
Yeah, but I'm hoping it'll catch on video because it really is a really tour de force for Colin Farrell. It's the best I've seen him in a long time. Probably since Tigerland.
I just got one question.
Sure.
Does he play baseball in the rain?
He does not.
Oh, Jesus. Every damn time this movie comes up. Baseball in the rain.
No. I actually have a second question because I haven't seen the original, and the original is on Instant Play still.
Yep.
Should I go watch the original first, or should I watch the new one?
I don't think it matters, honestly. I really think that they really made it its own movie because I can honestly say that if the movie would have sucked, if Colin Farrell would have sucked, if the plot would have, or if the acting would have sucked, and and it just had horrible special effects and everything else, it wouldn't have tarnished my image of the original because it's enough of a separation to be its own thing. Does that make sense? Would you agree with that, Justin?
Yeah, they don't share so much in common that it matters which one you see first. At this point, I'd almost say hold off on seeing the original. See this one with as little baggage as possible going into it.
So maybe I could be okay just seeing the new one, or should I still go back and watch it?
That's what he just said.
You should still see the old one at some point.
You don't have to see it ahead of time.
Okay.
No. David Tennant, though, he really shocked me how vulgar kind of his character was and kind of slimy yet redemptive. I liked him.
Yeah, and Peter Vincent, if you're a fan of the original, is a real iconic role for anybody that's a fan of that one.
It's probably the biggest change from the first to the second movie.
Very, very much. It's actually a much smaller role, I thought, but very similar in terms of he's not really a brave guy. But they gave him a little backstory, which I didn't think was necessary, but I understand why they did it. And they made him a little different. Because David Tennant played it completely different than Roddy McDowall did. But they both did it really. I think he made it his own. He didn't make it like a carbon copy, and he wasn't trying to emulate Roddy McDowall in any way, shape, or form, which is good because that would have been a mistake, I think. So it was a good movie. The only thing I will say, because I gave it 8 out of 10 as well. If it's full price is $10, I give 8 for it. The only problem I had with it is that I thought kind of in the beginning it's a little rushed. It felt a little rushed.
Yeah,
like they were in a hurry to get to the point of that.
Evil mentions vampires. It seems like in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's really quick, but thankfully the rest of the movie plays out so well. It's something you can overlook. But it is something that from the first 15 minutes I'm like, oh, they better do something because they're losing me with that because it was just too quick. too quick. But thankfully they came back around.
You have to go check that out. I got $10 to blow on my
Sweet.
AMC Stubbs card.
Sweet. Justin, you saw Conan the Barbarian. What do you think?
Yeah, I went to go see it today because I knew none of you guys had seen it yet, and it's a movie I definitely wanted to see. So I went to go see it today. I don't know if I would say I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed Fright Night. I still was really pleased with the final product. My biggest fear going into it was that it was going to be just a sci-fi, network movie on the big screen with cheesy effects, cheesy acting, everything about it just smelling of low budget. This movie does not seem like a low budget movie. It's got quality acting across the board. I enjoyed the story. The special effects were really good. And it definitely makes almost no effort to harken back to Arnold's Conan. This is its own movie from the very beginning. And I really enjoyed, Jason Momoa's Conan. Sometimes I wish he wouldn't talk as much as he did. Not because I didn't think he did a good job, but just because I always envisioned Conan as more of a letting his sword do his talking for him. But he looks, the dude's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
And when he's got the armor on, he's got the sword just swinging, he's got both hands chopping fools in half. There's plenty of blood, plenty of gore. There are some, bare breastises going around the movie, so you're getting, all of that action too. The story is really fun because it's about, Conan is born on the battlefield, cut from his mother's womb. And so he's, from moment one, raised for battle. And it's all about the bad guy, played by Stephen Lang, the character's name is Collar Zim, wants to find the pieces of this mask that will give him the powers of a god. And that had been broken apart centuries before, and the parts distributed across the world via these barbarian tribes. And so he's been going around piecing these pieces back together, and Conan's father has the final piece. And after Conan's father gets killed, now we jump forward and Conan's older, and Barbarian himself around the world looking for Collar Zim so he can get his revenge. And it is a bloody path that he cuts through the world, and it is really good. The only part of it I did not like, and it's unfortunate, is Rose McGowan. She looks freaky, but her voice and her acting is woof.
Really?
Not good. She took me out of it, but she's the only thing. Stephen Lang really surprised me. I didn't see any of his other roles that I have seen him in when he did this. He looked different enough. He sounded different enough. Rachel Nichols looked gorgeous.
Love her. That's Scarlett from G.I. Joe, right?
Yeah, she played Scarlett, just lovely. And she does a good job. And Ron Perlman, he's Ron Perlman. He does what he does, and he did it really well. But all in all, 1 to 10, I'd give it a solid 7.
Nice. Well, I'm actually seeing that tomorrow. My wife and I are going to a drive-in. We're seeing that, and Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
I hope you like it, and I hope they make more, because they definitely did a good job bringing this Conan to the screen.
I don't. It's going to have to do well overseas because it didn't do too hot, but we'll get there in a second. For the weekend that you would be listening to this podcast, if you're listening to it right after it comes out, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark is currently at 57% positive. That's not bad for a horror movie, but it's not great, but it's really not bad. Our Idiot Brother is at 65%. That's actually below average for that kind of movie. So I don't know if you want to pay in theaters for it or wait for video. Columbiana has not been screened for any critics, which isn't really bode well for it, but it's a Luc Besson movie, which means it's going to be like The Transporter with a chick. You can pretty much guarantee it'll be ass-kicking. Box office-wise, like we were saying, every new release that came out this past weekend flopped. Conan, Fright Night, and Spy Kids, nothing took off. Summer is definitely over because The Help repeated.
I was just going to say, I was shocked that The Help came on top of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I mean, they released the same weekend, right?
No, The Help came out the weekend after.
Oh,
Planet
okay,
of the
that's
Apes.
my bad.
But it held on so well that it's beaten Planet of the Apes. It made $20 million. It's got $71 million so far in the bank. It's going to do well over $120 million when it's all said and done. Planet of the Apes is holding on strong. No, 16. It's at 133. I think it'll probably be about $175 million when it's all said and done. Might be enough for a sequel. Don't know. Spy Kids, 11.6 million. That sucked. Conan, 10 million flat. So sorry, Justin. I don't think we're going to get another one. And Fright Night, 7.7 million on opening weekend is horrible. Horrible. You know why?
Less than the fourth week of the Smurfs.
Yeah.
How sad is that?
And why is it? It was marketed pretty well.
I thought it was actually marketed pretty poorly, personally. Okay. But I also think it's the end of summer. Most people don't want to go to a horror movie in August. I mean, I don't know why they keep releasing them, because people, I follow this stuff, unfortunately, more than any normal person should. And horror movies generally don't do that great. There's 1 out of 10 that do well in August. If they wait until early October, it actually does pretty good. But for some reason, I think they're hoping they get the summer crowd. It never seems to happen.
Or they don't want to fight the other horror movies that are coming out.
Plus, it's not a romantic baseball in the rain kind of vampire, so chicks don't want to go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sad, but it is. Let's go on and let's see what's coming up next weekend. Next weekend, which is Labor Day weekend, there's really not a whole lot. I'm going to go through them real quick, and then we'll talk about them and see what's the pick of the week for each of us. The Debt is coming out. It's an espionage thriller that spans 2 timelines. It's agents recount a mission that happened 30 years ago. Helen Mirren is in it, and Sam Worthington is one of the past ones. Apollo 18 is one of those found footage flicks about astronauts that sent to the moon and some crazy shit that happens. I have no idea where the fuck they found the footage, but whatever. And the other one is Shark Night 3D, which is about sharks that infest lake waters and apparently get pissed off in 3D. So that's what you got to. That's what's coming out next weekend. Really big movie weekend. What do you guys think?
I think The Debt looks really interesting. I like the whole concept of using newer actors to play younger versions of older actors. And I like that that's done in a thriller instead of like a comedy or in a hardcore drama. I'm interested to see that. Don't know if I'll see it in the theater. Probably still a rental, but man, Helen Mirren is on my GILF list. Seriously.
Seriously? You have a GILF list?
No, not really.
How many people are on this list?
Yeah.
One.
I'm not amazed that she's on it. I'm just amazed that you have that list.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who the other ones would be.
She is an attractive woman, I must say.
Yeah,
yes, but is the list, dude? I'm just saying, but the list consists of Helen Mirren. I can't think of anybody else you want to throw on there.
Betty White.
Betty White. That's what I was thinking. Betty White.
Sophia Loren.
Yeah, maybe.
Margaret.
Ashley Judd.
Maybe. Ashley Judd. How is she a GILF?
I think she's pretty much a grandma. She's like in her 50s.
Ashley Judd?
Yeah.
She is not.
You're thinking of her mother, Naomi.
Yes, you fucked hard. What are you talking? Ashley Judd. Ashley Judd is like my age.
Ashley Judd was like on Star Trek: The Next Generation as an ensign.
Wow.
I'm going to double check that because
Ashley Judd is like 38, 37 years old.
I know
she can't be a grandma.
I even
wow, that's reaching.
Raquel Welch. She still looks damn good.
Yeah, I'd do that. Okay, but what's your pick of the week, Scott? Before we.
Well, mine is going to be Apollo 18. I love these kind of movies where Blair Witch.
Where did they find it? It's the moon. I just can't imagine that they have like.
Does it matter?
Yes.
Well, the spaceship from the Transformers has been sitting up there for the last 50 years, so nobody saw that.
Touche.
No, this is a movie that I'm going to have to see on opening weekend because this is the kind of movie that I feed on a crowd atmosphere. Like
you're going to pay time. You're going to go see that on opening weekend
if
you can find people to go with you.
Yeah, because nobody likes these kind of movies. But like if you don't see Paranormal Activity by yourself or with just one person or on, like when there's like 4 people in the theater. You go because you feel the energy of the crowd and the fear and that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's what makes these kind of movies fun, and that's
Brian, what's your pick of the week? You've been quiet. Justin and I've already talked a lot, so go ahead.
To me, it's really a toss-up between The Dead or Apollo 18 for really a lot of the same reasons Scott was saying. The Dead looks original, which is of course a huge plus. Mm-hmm. So that's it'd be kind of fresh to see something new like that. Subject matter actually looks pretty good, with it. And Apollo 18, I'm not exactly sure what it's about other than they find an alien or something living up there on the moon. So,
and I'm okay with that. I like going
same here. It's I think that's a neat concept too. It's it really kind of plays on history to a certain extent. It kind of uses the fact that, hey, we haven't been back there. Here's why. So anything but Shark Night 3D, really. It's
let's be honest. If any of us watch that, we're just watching for the tits. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Piranha 3D, just with sharks.
I actually like Piranha 3D. But Justin, what's your pick of the week?
None.
None?
I mean, the debt looks
You're going to go see Fright Night again?
Fuck to me. Apollo 18, I'll watch, but I don't know if I want to wait till DVD or rental. Unlike Scott, I mean, I agree with Scott. These movies are fun with a crowd. I don't have to have the crowd, though, to still enjoy it. Shark Night, I will definitely rent because I did like Piranha 3D quite a bit, so I'll see this one as well, but it's not one, again, that I need to see. Of the three, probably Apollo 18 I would be the most inclined to go see.
Okay. Mine is Shark Night 3D. I'm not going to lie. I had so much fun watching Piranha 3D. It's just so fucking stupid and is exactly what you think it's going to be. And if this movie's the same, I'll probably end up seeing it. It's one of those things where I would see this in the theater. I'd never watch it again. Never watch it at home. Never watch Piranha again. But it was just fun. It was fun seeing it in the theater. I'm not going to lie. Especially, I like 3D boobs. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you might have just sold me.
3D boobs, they jiggle.
I didn't even think
in
about
Piranha, there's like a 5-minute lesbian scene that is amazing. Underwater lesbian scene in 3D. In 3D.
He's getting hard. He's like quivering in excitement right now. I'm getting a little creeped out.
Plus, there's really not much else out. So what I probably will end up doing is seeing Fright Night again. But
Let me know, because I want to go see it.
Yeah, we'll go see it.
It's a date.
I actually go with you. Aw. You're a bottom. Okay, now before we go to a trailer break, we are going to have Scott go do his little contribution to Does It Make Me a Sally for liking this?
Does it make me a Sally for liking Chris Evans with his shirt off?
Yes.
No, I'm just joking.
No, it does make you Sally. It makes you a lot of things.
No, actually, I'm going to give you guys one of my favorite romantic comedies out there. Believe it or
And
not.
kind of, before you finish,
sure.
Kind of, just so people know that maybe you haven't listened, Does It Make Me Sally? It's kind of, these are movies that we watch that's a little more sensitive, and that hopefully it's kind of like our flashback contribution to couples. So that's kind of
thoughts.
Deep Thoughts by Scott
This
Clark.
is for the ladies.
So yeah, like Aaron said, these are movies that, not that we're ashamed to admit that we like, but we don't.
I'm ashamed.
Are you?
Yeah.
We don't go out and I say we don't go out in public and we're talking about it on a podcast. But my movie's one of my favorite romantic comedies from 2003. It's called Love Actually.
Oh, that's a sweet movie.
Shut up! I actually like this movie a lot.
I was being sincere.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Well, then you should use a less facetious tone next time.
Touche.
Well, the thing is, I'm kind of a sucker for two different things in movies, and one is I'm going to get to in the flashback section later on, but the other is films that have multiple stories that kind of converge in the end. And in Love Actually, there's lots of them. There's probably a good 6 or 7 different stories that all have the theme of love somehow. And it's not always bright, happy, sunshiny kind of love. There's some jacked up stuff going on there, which actually turns off a lot of people in the movie. But in the end, the movies all wind up coming together. There's just an awesome amount of charm with each of these characters. There's a great cast in it. Hugh Grant, which call me Sally for liking Hugh Grant. I love it. He's a typecast character, but I love him in every movie. I like
Hugh Grant.
You like to like him.
About a Boy is one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but Liam Neeson is in this. There's just such an awesome cast in this, and none of the characters have anything to do with each other until towards the end they start coming together. But Alan Rickman is in it. He's awesome. Mm-hmm. I love Alan Rickman. And it's a movie that at the end it really culminates and becomes a feel good movie, and some genuinely well written stories in it that I really like a lot. It's themed around Christmas, so me and my wife watch it together every Christmas. Highly recommend it, and I have yet to meet a second person that doesn't like this movie. I've tried to pitch this movie to my brother several times, and he refuses to watch it. He got about 20 minutes into it and gave up. But
really,
it just is a really feel good movie.
We watch it every Christmas. I'm not gonna lie, we do too.
So do we.
Yeah.
So yeah. Don't know if it makes me a Sally, but
nope.
That's in the top. That's probably my top 5.
It doesn't make you one if I watch it too.
What about if we watch it together?
What do you?
Yeah. If you two are curled up under a blanket watching this, that definitely makes you a Sally. But otherwise, you're all right.
Have you guys seen it?
Yeah,
I have
it's
not.
a good. It's You're right. It is a good movie, and the multiple plot lines, storylines that are going through the whole thing really kind of, it kind of makes you pay attention a little bit. It's really similar to what is it, Valentine's Day that came out recently. That
Except
you've
this
got
one's good.
You've got a number. You've got all these multiple storylines that cross over at some point, and everything wraps up at the end, and that's to me is kind of cool. And it was it's got a little bit of humor in it. It's of course it's romantic.
What I liked about it with the multiple stories, a lot of movies make the mistake of when they come all together, it's just that they all come together as one huge story. And Love Actually does a really good job of making those connections very subtle, so that it's not like just in your face. There just happens to be something that's there.
Right, it just might be somebody from one of the other stories that happens to be sitting in a cafe or something with.
Yeah, or like you learn at the end that
something.
two people are actually friends,
Right.
and like you don't know that until the very end, and it comes together, and there's a whole airport sequence thing that just really works, and there's a voiceover with Hugh Grant. It's just a really feel good movie and some genuinely laugh out loud moments in it that I never get tired of watching this movie every year.
Justin, you should check it out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
the one part that sticks out to me with that is the the guy that shows up at the lady's house with the cards.
Oh,
nothing said, but he just keeps flipping the.
Yeah, that was very sweet.
I'm not gonna lie, that is a very.
We are all very sensitive.
Yeah,
and I'm actually surprised, Justin, you haven't seen this.
I am too.
Because especially since you're very proud of your Salliness.
That's right.
My video collection rivals everyone.
He flies his Sally flag proudly.
That's right.
Well, with that, we are going to take a break, and you're going to hear the trailer for Machine Gun Preacher. Listen hard, because it is definitely not the movie that it sounds like it's going to be when it starts.
Listen hard? Does that mean I should get an erection before we go to the break?
Like you stopped? Like you haven't had one the entire time we've been talking? Because you keep rubbing your hands together below the table. Okay, so this is Machine Gun Preacher.
I've done a lot of things that I ain't proud of. Hurt a lot of people.
You can't keep going the way you've been going.
Help me. I don't got no good shoes, Lana.
I'm here today to talk to you about families just like yours, half a world away, that desperately need your help.
I was thinking maybe I could go over there.
Africa?
Reckon they can do with all the help they can get. I'll be back before you know it. You in an army or something?
We are freedom fighters.
I'm Sam. Nice to meet you. I want to go into Sudan this weekend. Need someone to show me around.
This is a war zone. If you stay here, you're going to get killed.
It's safer to sleep here than in their own homes.
They ain't sleeping out here.
There are too many. You can't have them all.
Gotta take as many as we can. Tell the other ones we'll come back later. I need the money for an extra vehicle so that I can save some children.
Calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down! That's the orphanage that I'm gonna build in Sudan.
They talk about you, the children.
Just trying to help these people. Same as you.
The entire rebel army has put a bounty on your head.
I must be doing something right. You burn it down. Ain't nothing left. It's over.
Get off your butt and build it again. You hear me?
Sam, wait!
She will wait and get you!
This place does not need more guns.
Why don't you fight the evil in this place your way and let me fight it mine? Helping you kids is about the only good thing I've ever done in this life. You got no idea what I'm saying, do you?
And that was Machine Gun Preacher. I hope everybody likes that odd fucking trailer.
You know, the title for that movie makes me think of a movie more like Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yes, it does. It's
I kept waiting for this to be a Robert Rodriguez joint where some preacher comes out just shooting the shit out of all the non-believers.
That sounds like the movie Scott wants to see.
Like a sequel to Machete.
Yeah.
There you go.
God, I love Machete.
Machete's awesome. Machete don't text.
We didn't cross the border. The border crossed us.
You can't say it machete. You got to say it machete.
Machete. You know what's funny? It's my wife, because she is Spanish, actually says it like that. And I don't understand what she's saying. I'm like, you mean machete? Like, she's like, no, machete.
Your wife liked that movie.
Machete.
My wife loves that movie.
And that blew me away. She loves Steven Seagal in that movie.
She does. She likes... Dude, she's the one that wants to see Conan. I don't want to see it. I do, because Justin said it was a good movie, of course. But before that, I didn't want to see it. I just want to see Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Whatever. Now we're going to go into From the Outside In. What that is basically our former weekly topic. We just threw a cheesy-ass title on it. This week, we're going to talk about, well, two things. One, when you go to a theater nowadays, what gets you there? What draws you in? What makes you say, I got to see that in the theater? And then two, what takes you out of it? What makes you say, I don't want to go to the movies anymore? This is why I hate coming. And we'll get into each of that. Let's first talk about the first one first. What makes you guys go to see a movie? What makes you say that's the one I got to see in the theater?
Special effects, plain and simple.
Special effects, spectacle,
larger than life.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like we've made the points before about comedies, romantic movies and stuff where you can see that and it translates well on your TV, no matter how good of a TV that you have. But with special effects, you need all that space on the big screen to really just be blown away by it. And that to me gets me in a movie theater. It's shallow. It's, typical, brainless Americans who, don't want to think about a movie, but
man,
exactly. That's probably
one of mine. Is one of my reasons that I had down was pretty much the same thing, but just pure popcorn fun, whether it be action, comedy, or horror.
Right.
Like I mentioned with upcoming Apollo 18, I love experiencing movies with people. I love, even though it's one of those things where if I suggest a movie and we go out and see a movie that I came up with and they like it, even though I didn't make the movie, even I had nothing to do with the production, I feel like somewhat responsible for their enjoyment of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Same. On the flip side, like if we go see a shitty movie
on the flip side
that I recommended, then it's my fault that we went and saw it.
It usually is your fault.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
So just the pure fun of what you want to go see movies for when you were a kid, to see bright shiny things on the screen.
That's a good way to break it down. Pretty simple. I mean, bright shiny things on the screen. I think that's why most people go. Mm-hmm. The spectacle is important to me, but obviously I was raised a little different than most people. I was raised going to the theater once a week, every week. So I prefer the ambiance of a theater for anything that's action or horror related. Comedies and dramas generally not as much, because it seems like a steep price to pay to see those. If it's a comedy, I'll only see it on a weekend night or with an audience. I mean, it has to be with an audience. Either opening weekend or a weekend night. It's the only time I'll see a comedy. I won't see it like during the week, because my personal opinion is you're not getting your money's worth. You spend $10 and you see it with a crowd of 5. It's not nearly the same to me. Dramas only if everybody's talking about it.
Can I ask you real quick? You said you were raised about going to movies like once a week. Is it like a nostalgia thing for you, like the smell of the theater and the popcorn?
It's honestly, people will say that sound systems and current TVs and everything rival, what we grew up with, or rival an actual theater. I totally disagree with that. I think it's a combination of everything. It's the popcorn, it's the audience, it's basically you're merging with that group for either the enjoyment or hatred, whichever one it is, of that particular movie. It is nostalgic for me personally, but it's an experience. To me, it's like going for other people. They go to water parks or theme parks and that kind of thing. That's what a movie theater is for me. It's like going to a theme park, much smaller theme park, and with somehow more expensive food, but it's definitely like my theme park. I would prefer to go there than any Six Flags in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense to probably not many people. But it's honestly that what it does for me. It's very much the experience. I would rather see a movie in a theater than I would at home.
And see, I'm so much the other direction. And maybe it's because I live around more assholes than you do. But it seems like anytime I go to a movie, especially if it's an opening weekend and it's a weekend night, the crowd these days seems more often than not to detract from my experience. Either
I think we're lucky.
they're too loud, or they're talking through the movie, or they're just murmuring. There's so many things. Fucking people bringing children.
You see their cell phones.
Their cell phones coming up while they're fucking tweeting and textbooking and shit while they're watching a movie. People bringing children. People, I hate people.
Children that just came out of the womb, like the umbilical cord is still attached.
My wife and I went to see Fast 5, and there were babies crying because it's so loud, and it's, you know, a boisterous film that these children obviously are terrified of. Parents just don't give a shit. They're just like honey badgers, laying there, rocking them, thinking that's, you know, that's something. Yeah, they don't give a
honey
shit.
Honey badger don't give a
pisses
shit.
Me off. And, you know, and I'm fortunate. I've got a 50, you know, not to toot my own horn, but I've got a 56-inch plasma, 7.1 surround sound, Blu-rays and all that stuff. So I get a very good experience in the house. So maybe I don't need it as much as some people need that big screen experience. I just find most people ruin films for me, and I almost prefer to go like at the 11 o'clock screening on a Wednesday, you know, morning, because I know that there's going to be fewer assholes, especially now that school is back in. Yes. Now these fucking kids can get out of my theater and go pester a teacher.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
I honestly don't remember the last bad experience I had here, like what he's talking about. Have you?
Well, I will be honest. We actually have two theaters here, right? In big old Rockeford. One is very much your experience, Justin. I mean, that's how that theater is.
16?
16? Yeah, very much. My opinion. Every time I go there, I get exactly what Justin just described. Over and over. Oh, you're Scott Clark. You're oblivious to things. You just go on. You're like, I'm Scott. I'm going on. The other theater is very much more, I hate to say the word because I'm not a fan of saying it, but much more upscale. I mean, I think the crowd is much nicer, kinder, gentler.
I like movie taverns.
They pay taxes, and they know they pay
movie
taxes.
Taverns around here, and I like them quite a bit.
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
We have movie taverns here, and I found I enjoy the experience a bit more. It's a little bit more expensive to go, and you actually get meals as opposed to just popcorn. Though I cannot go into a theater without popcorn in hand. So even if I'm ordering a pizza or a burger, I'll still get the popcorn. But a movie tavern, it's more comfortable, and usually there aren't as many people there. And
Sean is like
I like going there.
My wife's like that.
Sean
too.
can't go into a movie front of the show. Can't go into a theater or even watch a movie at home without popcorn.
No, even if I just had dinner, I will get a popcorn.
See, now I'm a little bit opposite than you, Justin, with the whole like the home watching thing, because I like watching movies at home too. But when I watch movies at home, I'm usually watching movies with my wife or with friends, and there's no focus.
I don't have friends.
Well, that makes it easy for you. No,
Yeah.
But like, no joke, without fail, we turn on a movie and we sit down and we watch all the credits or all the trailers, and we get through the credits. As soon as the first scene opens up, without fail, she's getting up and doing laundry or going to the kitchen or whatever.
Starting a dishwasher.
Seriously, it drives me batshit crazy. Like, just watch the goddamn movie. Like,
You need to put your foot down with that woman.
Scott! I knew it was coming. The theater, you don't have that avenue. If you leave the theater or whatever to go to the bathroom, go get nachos, you're not distracting me because it's dark, it's loud. There's no distractions there. So don't get me wrong. I've got a 52-inch. Mine isn't quite as large as yours, but it is LCD. So
yeah, mine's plasma. Deeper blacks, bitch.
But the other reason that I love to go see movies is I love the feeling of walking out of a theater with my mind blown. And this is
what?
How come everything's got to be a dirty?
I don't know. Too easy.
When was the last time that happened?
Inception.
Yeah.
I walked out of Inception.
I knew that was going to be. That's like the movie you use for everything.
It is, and I apologize. It's my favorite movie last year, like I said. But I love going to movies. I got some friends that they would consider themselves to be intellectual, and we went and saw this movie together, and then we walked out of the theater just like minds reeling and trying to figure things out and sharing ideas with each other. I love that. I love walking out.
And might I say, for the record, especially if those friends of yours that you think or they think are intellectual, apparently Scott does not think you are intellectual. with the way that you said that.
Wow.
Well, I didn't mean it that way. Thank you for pointing that out.
Too late.
Aaron.
Yes, sir.
Make a note next time I'm on, have this segment be about the most mind-blowing movie experience. When you came out changed or your mind just fired up.
I like it.
I'm ready to go right now whenever you're ready.
You want to go ahead and record it for next week?
Nah, bitch. If I ain't on, you ain't getting my goodness. You gotta get my milkshake when I'm on.
It brings all the boys to the yard.
It does. Damn right. It's better than yours.
Brian, what about you? What keeps you out?
The whole thing with it, the part that turns me off there is really like Justin. It's the distractions. It's the people talking. It's the cell phone. Somebody lighting up. Playing Angry Birds or text messaging or something. And I don't care how far in front of me they are. Mm-hmm. I can always see it, and I can't help but stare at it. It's very distracting. But it seems to be at certain types of movies. The action movies I don't mind because there's so many noises, there's so many explosions or fast cars screaming by or gunfire, whatever. So you don't, you can block that out a little bit. But if you've got something where you're really in the moment, as far as like maybe a horror movie, I just
somebody's
I
hang on, let me take that call
and take that phone or smack the shit out of them, because like I say, it's you're in there, you're wrapped up with everybody, and if everybody jumps and you kind of talk for a minute after a few seconds after that, like, oh my god, I just can't believe that shit just happened. That's one thing. But if you're sitting there talking about what you're going to do after you leave the movie, then you're ruining my experience. Mm-hmm. And I've paid my hard-earned money to watch that fucking movie. And that's, to me, is grounds to just smack the shit out of them. And you just tell the judge, you know what? I just spent $40, but for me and whoever I'm with, with tickets and
I like
snacks.
You say whoever I'm with.
Yeah, I know.
Not Molly.
Sorry, honey. But it's, hey, I paid all this money out, and I want to, for this next hour and a half to 2 hours, I want to be totally engrossed in this movie. And then when you've got somebody else that's, distracting me, it gets my blood boiling.
I'm with you. So pretty much we're all in agreement on everything. Same reasons that we go to the movie.
We're talking about, you said turn-offs, or what irritates you about venturing off. I hate to bring it up, but it's expensive. The prices. I mean, $10 for a movie, especially if you want to go see movies as often as I'd like to, that can add up no matter how many Stubbs memberships you have.
That's true. And I gotta tell you, that's
matinee works for me.
Yeah. I don't mind going on matinees. I prefer to go, especially if it's something I'm dying to see. I have to go like on an opening night. Mm-hmm. Because it really changes the experience quite a bit. If you get people cheering and everything else, I want to be there when it opens. I don't want to be there like a Thursday at 3 in the morning or whatever the hell the matinees are. I mean, you get there before 9:30 and it's $5. Well, sweet. For $5, I got to get up 18 hours earlier. It just makes no sense to me.
If it's a Star Wars, midnight release, I will go midnight release opening day. Otherwise, I'm just fine waiting till the crowds diminish.
Yeah, if it's something like that, like, you're really passionate about, like Star Wars or maybe like with me with like a comic book movie or something like that, then the midnight showing is really the time to go, because everybody there is there for the same reason.
And they're usually respectful.
Are a bunch of dorks or nerds or whatever the case is who are just all geeked out about this movie, and everybody's respective of it, of everybody else in there. So you laugh or you jump, you scream, whatever the case is, and then you're done with that, and then you get back into the movie. Mm-hmm. And everybody, for the most part, nobody really ruins it for you in that time. But if you go the regular opening night at the 7:30, 9 o'clock, whatever, you're going to be screwed.
I don't want to be screwed. Not there, anyway. Not unless Scott's with.
Oh, Jesus.
What? So
There's
close.
a new theater up the road from us that has a $5 matinee, and I'm quickly coming to love it.
We
we used to
got
have
one too, but you gotta get there so early.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock.
we used to have a dollar theater, which was on a poor side of town. That if you went like on weekends and stuff for $1, you
Link
weren't
Day.
watching the movie.
It was Link Day.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
But
It's fantastic.
it was still great to be able to go just pay $1 to see a movie.
So that's where you and we've had this discussion before. I don't agree with you. I thought that was a miserable fucking experience to have somebody sit there and talk because they don't care about it. They paid $1, so they'll take every call they can. They'll be doing drug deals and shit right there in the fucking lobby. They don't care.
Apparently,
Some questionable activities in those back rows.
Yes, exactly.
The floor was
It's
sticky.
It's like, hey, why is your candy in a little baggie? I don't understand.
Get the munchies, dude.
Yeah, I get hungry, man. Want a hit? So that's not a fun movie going experience to me, but apparently Scott, he likes it. So.
Well, it depends on the movie too. Like, give an example. My wife loves to tell the story about when she went to see the movie Enough in a dollar theater.
With Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah, where like she trains and then beats the crap out of the guy that's
horrible
beating her.
title for a Jennifer Lopez movie. Because the entire movie, all you keep thinking is that's enough.
But she said going on that side of town to see that movie was awesome. Just the crowd full of people just yelling and screaming at the phone or at the movie at the screen. Sounds like a good time for a movie.
That one might be because it's kind of that clientele, and once she starts kicking some ass, I mean that's fun to have that kind of crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the other 45 minutes or hour before you get to that point, fucking sucks, man. Because all they're doing is talking, taking phone calls, making babies, as well as taking care of the ones they already have. That's just not fun to me. Any closing thoughts before we move on to DVDs and flashbacks? Bueller? Anyone?
People stop sucking. I mean by that, stop pissing me off in a theater, not the back row activity. You keep on with that, just keep it down.
Keep it down.
Just keep it down. I love that. All right, well, moving on. That's from the outside in, and we'll come back pretty soon with mind-blowing experiences. Now, can I use sexual ones? I'm just asking because I worked in a movie theater and I got a couple. Or do you want actual?
I'm hoping that we're going to be talking about movies that changed us in some way, but do what you got to do.
All right, I promise, Justin. That's the next one. All
right.
Okay, going on to DVDs and Blu-rays. There's not a whole lot coming out on August 30th. Prom, which is, you guessed it, it's about a prom. That's really all you need to say about that. Medea's Big Happy Family, which I just wish Medea would get shot in the fucking head. Exactly. Justin, you said it perfect. Sons of Anarchy, Season 3. Love that show.
Fuck yes.
Love it.
It is so good.
It is. I think they spent too long in Ireland last season, but I don't care. It's still worth buying. House Season 7, and there's tons of other TV shows that are coming out. Basically, if you got a favorite TV show, it's probably coming out on DVD this week or the next week.
How I Met Your Mother?
Those Irish accents were so good, though. I love Irish accents.
And that, by the way, since I mentioned it, Sons of Anarchy is my pick of the week. Anybody?
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't watched
definitely.
I haven't watched Sons of Anarchy, so I have no.
You've never seen Sons of Anarchy?
Mm-mm.
Oh, God.
You're missing
It's
out.
Ron Perlman, right?
Yeah, he's in it.
Yeah. My wife started watching it. I thought just a TV show about a motorcycle gang would be boring as fuck, but she started watching it, talked it up enough. All right, I'll give it a try. Damn, it's good. I'm so glad I'm watching it.
My pick would be How I Met Your Mother. I love that show, and I haven't seen any of season 5 yet. So
it's good, but it's just the last couple seasons have been so.
Haven't they figured it out?
They're dragging it out. I mean, when Robin is on screen, I am there, especially if she's doing another Robin Sparkles video. But
God, that was hilarious.
most of the time, it's just it's just they're just going through the motions right now.
Well, and I haven't seen any of season 5, but I hear that Ted starts to become a little bit of a dick.
It's sad when your primary character is also the least likable character.
Yeah, like Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I even like Seinfeld a bit, but yeah, he's definitely the least likable. Robin and Barney are by far the best.
Oh God,
that's my opinion.
Neil Patrick Harris just cracks me up.
I've seen like 2 episodes of the show.
Oh really?
It's a good show. The first few seasons are really good.
The first couple, actually, believe it or not, are surprisingly well written as far as getting away from some of the tropes of romantic or of sitcoms. They do some clever stuff with the writing in some of the episodes, and it's genuinely funny. But it's not the season 3 and 4 weren't as good as season 5, and I'm kind of, it's getting to the point now where I kind of want to just be done with it and finish while they're ahead kind of thing. But I don't even know if they're ahead anymore.
Yeah.
No, I gotcha.
Oh, real quick though, since we're on TV, just real briefly, do any of you guys watch Community?
Yes, I love Community.
Brian, have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, but
Oh, Brian, you would love the paintball episode.
Fuck you. Shut up. I'm getting to that.
Okay.
The reason I brought it up, especially for you, Brian, is you're a big fan of the Fast Five and the other Fast and Furious movies. Justin Lin, who has directed all of them, but the first one, directs 3 different episodes of Community. One of them called Modern Warfare, first season episode. I laughed until I was afraid of hurting my body from either asphyxiating or slapping myself too hard. It is fucking hysterical, and Justin Lin owned the directing of that show. It is good. And Community, I just started watching it, and I ran through the whole season in like a week. Fucking awesome.
No, I cannot
recommend it enough.
I've not watched that show
I'll
at all.
check it out.
Do I have to watch all of it, or can I just watch that one episode to see what you're talking about?
Well, you can just watch the one. You're not going to get all the interpersonal dynamics of the characters, which makes it that much more interesting. Because the whole premise of that episode, it starts off like any other normal one. They're all in school. The dean of the school announces that there's going to be a paintball competition for a prize they haven't announced yet. Joel McHale's character goes off to take a nap. He wakes up an hour later, and it's like apocalypse fucking now. Paint everywhere. It looks like the place has just been blown to shit. And you come to find out through the episode that the prize is really worth it, and it's just turned into Thunderdome. If you know the characters, it's even funnier, but you could probably just watch it without it. It's fantastic. And the ending, phenomenal.
Awesome.
I'm done, sorry.
That's okay.
Justin Lin, it's movie, it's TV. I thought it kind of worked.
I love that show. That show's really funny. Joe McHale is really funny.
That's Chevy.
He is ripped, too. Damn.
Is he really?
I had no idea he was in very good shape, because all I ever saw him on was The Soup.
Yeah, he always seems very lanky.
Yeah, he looks lanky. He's always got these little jackets on. In a few episodes of that show, he actually takes, in fact, in one episode, he gets completely butt-ass naked. But he takes his clothes off, and I don't know if he's just working out for those episodes, but the dude is almost Bradley Cooper-y.
Holy
with
crap.
pecs and the arms and the shoulders. I was like, damn!
Now we know why Justin liked it.
Don't let my wife watch this.
I like how you quickly said, don't let my wife watch that. You know,
Well, I got to cover it up, bro.
Nice. Brian, what was your pick of the week?
Yeah, I've got to go with Sons of Anarchy. Okay. I'm just a huge fan of that show, and I kind of agree with you. It's kind of stayed in Ireland a little bit too long, kind of dragged that out pretty much, but it's good. That's one of my favorite shows on cable.
I love that show. You really got to look at it, Scott. You got to check it out. Okay, we're going on to Flashback DVD. Now, this is basically where we talk about everybody comes up with one DVD or Blu-ray. That's something people can find that's either obscure or unpopular. And we're trying to expose those movies to people that may not have heard of them or haven't heard anything really about them. So how this works is everybody gets 60 to 90 seconds, and I will buzz people if they go too far, to do their trailer for the movie. Basically explain what the movie's about, why they like it, before we'll discuss it. And after that, we discuss it, we'll go to the next person, and so on and so forth. There's 4 movies, so hopefully when you leave the show and you're done listening to it, you'll have 4 choices to listen to for the next week.
Do you have a buzzer, for real?
Yeah, it's called... goes like that.
Ow.
You like
was
that?
Loud.
Exactly, that's my point. So you'll know. And let's go with Brian. Let's do you first. Yeah, I said that.
All right. Let's see here. My flashback of the week is a documentary. It's about probably the dirtiest joke of all time. It's a movie called The Aristocrats, and that's aristocrats, not aristocats.
So it's not the cartoon?
No, it's not that Disney movie from years back. But basically, it's Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller and another comedian, Paul Provenza, basically do this documentary on this joke. It's one of the oldest jokes. It goes back to the vaudeville burlesque days, and it basically starts out with a guy goes to a talent agent and says, "Hey, I've got this idea for an act," and he describes basically his family is involved with it, and then after that, it's nothing but basically it's improv, and it gets filthy. It gets it's as bad. The joke gets as bad as you could possibly make it. I mean, the joke is the movie is basically about all these interviews with these comedians. There's like 100 comedians, and they all tell their version of it, and it's kind of explain how it's very much like a kind of a secret handshake among comedians. So it's a lot of fun. It's really dirty, but there's all sorts of comedians, like just about any comedian you could think of is in this thing. It's hilarious. It's gross, and check it out. It's not one you want to watch again, but it is funny. It is worth checking out.
And
Bob Saget is so filthy.
I was just gonna say, it's the first time I learned that Bob Saget is like a dirty motherfucker. Like seriously.
And it's pretty much like the whole movie is variations of that same joke, just told horribly different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically kind of the same setup, but once it's usually the father who's either
fucking the daughter,
right? Yeah, I mean it's how many taboos can you get into this joke?
Mm-hmm. And then she shits on his chest and like
yeah, exactly. it's horrible,
mm-hmm.
but it's and it's not all so much about the joke. It's really also about how because nobody really tells this joke in front of a crowd. It's always you got 5 or 6 comedians sitting around having drinks and stuff, and they kind of try to one up each other with the joke. Well, okay, well, how gross can you make it? Well, all right, now you go and stuff. But but to see some of these people, kind of like Bob Saget, who obviously has this image that he's he's been shedding over the last few years, but he's got this clean cut image. To hear him tell these dirty jokes is pretty hilarious.
Did you ever suck dick for coke?
But the reason they call it the aristocrats is because you get to the end of that whole diatribe of family members and pets just doing god awful things, and they go ta-da, and the tell agent goes, well, what do you call it? The aristocrats. And that's the joke that
exactly.
What's it available on? Brian, what's it available on?
You can find it on DVD. You can find it on Netflix, and just about anywhere.
Is it on Netflix Instant?
Yeah, DVD. Yeah, the Netflix DVD and Instant.
Okay, sweet. Let's go. That sounds like a good one. Let's go. Who's next? Then Justin.
All right. Well, I'd originally planned on doing a fucking Ford Fairlane, but Aaron stole my fucking pick.
I guess that means
not even knowing he was going to do it because I'm a big
really
Dice Clay fan. And I was going to do it the last time, but then I saw, the other movie on my shelf, and I thought, well, let me do that first. Ford Fairlane, nobody's ever going to choose that. I'll hold on to it. Fuck, there it goes, next week gone. I was so pissed. I got home, sent off an email.
Is that a true story, by the way?
Oh, God, yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I feel bad. Not really. But
now I really have to watch this movie.
Did you know the story about the poster? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
That's a true story. I actually was this close to stealing that poster. It was awesome.
We were so much fun.
Completely side story, but when I was 16, I saw Dice Clay's HBO special, the Dice Man Cometh.
I remember that, yeah.
And this was like 89 or 90, right around that age. First, I saw it. I was never the same. My cursing went to a whole new level. The man is a genius with it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So this week I had to scramble. I looked through my DV case to look for one that I wanted to talk about. And this one, folks, we're getting in the DeLorean. We're going to go ahead and set that thing back about 76 years. And my film for this week is a movie called Captain Blood. This is, of course, a black and white film. It stars a very young Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland. It's directed by, who directed that? Michael Curtis, who went on to direct one of my favorite films of all time, Casablanca. But Captain Blood, it's a story of Peter Blood. He is a soldier who got tired of killing, and decided that he wanted to heal men instead of kill them. So he became a doctor, and in England, he's unfortunately caught giving medical aid to a rebel. He gets taken in for treason, and instead of being killed, he's sold off into slavery and sent off to the East Indies, where he's bought by a slave owner, and through some different machinations, gets free and becomes a pirate, and becomes, instead of Dr. Blood, he becomes Captain Blood. It's a really good film. It's Errol Flynn's first big Hollywood film. Errol Flynn's actually from Australia. And when this film was made, Errol Flynn was not a household name, nor was his co-star Olivia de Havilland, who looks just gorgeous in this movie. Both of them were relative unknowns. This movie made them into the stars, or started that process to become the stars that they became. It's a fun film if you go into it looking for, the sort of special effects and whatnot that you're going to see in your Pirates of the Caribbean movie. You're not going to get it. I mean, it was made in 1935, so most of what you're going to see are miniatures. I know they pulled some footage from some other pirate movies to add into it because they didn't have a huge budget for it. It's a fun film. It's a really entertaining one to sit back and watch Errol Flynn develop into this the person he's going to be. It's not bloody. Again, it's 1935, but it's got a cheeky fun to it, and I highly recommend that if you've got a love for pirate movies, seagoing movies of any sort, give Captain Blood a try. It's maybe a movie you never heard of, but Errol Flynn became a screen idol for a reason, and in this one you can see how that starts.
That's a great movie, actually. I've seen that one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Have you, Scott?
Yeah, actually, Errol Flynn and Michael Curtis went on to do 15 movies together, and from what I understand, hated each other in all 15 of them. But those 15 movies, went on to become some pretty big hits. Robin Hood was another one that they did together, and he did it with Olivia de Havilland. Errol Flynn and Olivia actually did 9 movies together.
Which means they probably did do it.
They probably did do it, and, I'd have been in like Flynn too, because she is good looking. She's a pretty lady.
Yeah, actually, one of the very first movies I can remember going to see is Captain Blood. At I think it was at a college. The local college was showing, old movies and stuff, like, special movie nights and stuff. And I can remember as a kid going to see that, and I've been a fan of that movie ever since. And a couple other Errol Flynn flicks. So.
Mm-hmm. I like this one. I like Ivanhoe. I like Robin Hood, of course. I think Errol Flynn, people maybe want to make jokes now. I believe he was also came out to be gay at some point, but the guy definitely he had screen charisma. The dude definitely knew how to rock the screen back in his day. It is available on Netflix through DVD. It is not available through Netflix instant streaming, unfortunately.
He pretty much coined the phrase swashbuckler too. Really.
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy who really brought that into prominence.
Scott Clark.
Well, my movie is probably not a super popular one, but I liked it, so it's my segment. So
that's what it's supposed to be. It's not super popular.
Yes. My movie's from 2000, so it's not incredibly old, but it's a John Cusack movie called High Fidelity. I mentioned earlier one of the things I'm a sucker for in movies was the multiple stories converging into one. Another one that I'm a sucker for is when the character talks to the camera, which is kind of a cheap thing to do. It's not considered good writing, I suppose, but for whatever reason, I like it, especially when it's done in conjunction with a character that you feel incredibly sorry for, even though in this case the character in High Fidelity is kind of a dick, but I still like it. High Fidelity tells a story of a guy that owns a record store. He's got a couple of guys that work for him that are pretty interesting characters. And that's basically it. He's got a girl that he's his girlfriend breaks up with him at the beginning of the movie, and he's trying to get her back basically throughout the whole movie, and by talking to the camera about it, by talking to his friends, and his ups and downs with it, with trying to decide if he wants to be with her, if she's worth fighting for, but incorporates another one of my great loves, which is music. He obviously owns a record store, is very knowledgeable about music, talks about music. He and his the guys in the store are constantly talking about their top 10 of whatever, which is a lot of fun. It's just conversation starters, that kind of thing. The characters are great. It's a lot of fun, and it brings in the inner junior high kid in me as far as the whole mixtape thing, and music and music meaning something more than just something to listen to in the background, but actually taking meaning to the lyrics and the music and that kind of thing. So I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I'm actually kind of bummed I lost my copy. I need to get another copy of it because I'd like to see it again.
It's a good choice. I love John Cusack. I hear he's kind of an asshole, but in like real life,
I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna. I thought this is gonna be an unpopular pick, so I thought you were gonna.
Who directed that one, by the way? Because I liked it quite a bit too.
Give me 2 seconds.
I'll have to look it up, but
Frears, or
yeah, I think it is Stephen Frears,
something like that.
Stephen
Yeah,
Frears?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, he did Grifters.
It has a vaguely
Stephen Frears,
Cameron Crowe kind of feel to it too.
Yes, it does very much.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts in that is when he, what is it? He's standing there. Tim Robbins is talking to him.
Oh, God.
And it cuts to like the 3 different scenes of what he wants to do to him. But the first one is like, you're like, what the fuck is, can't just believe he smashed him with a air conditioner or whatever it was.
There's a telephone. I think he put a telephone, knocked his teeth out.
And that's actually a movie where Jack Black is not annoying as shit.
Well, I think that was
his first big.
I was just
film,
gonna
wasn't it?
say, like he was in. I don't know if you know he was in Waterworld. Do you know Jack Black was in
He was in
Waterworld?
Waterworld?
Yeah.
I hope he got drowned.
But I think that was the first Jack Black movie where he started getting into
he
that
was
crazy.
That gunner, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a gunner in the airplane.
Yeah, with the goggles on.
Oh
Who
yeah.
fucking knows that, Brian? Shame on you. Shame on you for knowing that.
Waterworld's not a bad film.
It's not a good film.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you.
It's not a good film either.
It's a fun movie, though.
No, it's not. What's fun about it?
What's not fun about it? The world is flooded and everyone's on boats.
So you like it because it's a nautical adventure?
It's a weird. It's borderline sci-fi. It's like
it's borderline dumbass is what it is. But whatever. You should make that one of your picks.
How do we go from High Fidelity to Waterworld?
I don't know. You made
Jack
Black.
Oh, it's like 3 degrees of separation of Jack Black.
3 degrees of dumbass actor.
Anyway, check
guy.
out High Fidelity. It's a fun movie if you like.
But ignore every other Jack Black movie except School of Rock.
You like School of Rock?
That's it. That's literally it.
No Shallow Hal.
Huh?
No Shallow Hal.
Really, Shallow Hal? That's the one you go with?
What? Shallow Hal was good.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
You would. You're pretty simplistic.
It was all right. It's no Kung Fu Panda.
Wow. God.
Oh, please.
Well,
Ooh, it's fucking good. Y'all can shut the fuck up.
To be fair, I'm just not a good Jack Black
skadoosh
guy.
Skadoosh.
All right, moving on to my pick.
I just snorted.
You just snorted. He snorted. He snorted. My movie is called The Gift. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but here's my trailer. Kate Blanchett stars as Annie Wilson. She's a small-town reader who spends her day playing a clairvoyant, which is what a reader does when they're not reading. When a local debutante / slut, Jessica King, goes missing, which is a naked Katie Holmes, Annie starts having visions that may or may not lead to the killer. It's kind of like an all-star cast movie. Giovanni Ribisi's in it as a mentally unstable friend. Keanu Reeves is an abusive husband to a pre-Oscar Hilary Swank. Jessica's fiance is played by Greg Kinnear. Gary Cole's in it as a local DA. And they're all taking stock up in the film, and it's directed by one of my favorite directors, who's Sam Raimi. Unfortunately, what I would say is, unfortunately because I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan, is the directing is honestly not at the forefront of the movie. It's a very, very slow shot movie. It's not something that's flashy like his normal movies are. This is one of those slow burn thrillers where you have to stick around till the end to see how it all plays out. All the performances, I think, click in this flick. I totally just rhymed on accident.
You're a poet.
I am a poet, and I didn't know it. Notably, Ribisi, Giovanni Ribisi is a retarded pal buddy who obviously loves Annie, is awesome in the movie. He's got a fantastic scene with Keanu Reeves, who also goes completely against type. And I'm not even a small Keanu Reeves fan. But he goes completely against type as a total shithead who never says whoa once in the entire movie and does a great job. He does a great job. The main drawing power for me in this film is Kate Blanchett. She is fantastic. And I'm not trying to sound silly, but her soft features, her eyes, her eyes just captivate me every time she looks outward in that movie for some reason. I don't know why. And her performance to me is very soulful. She very much seems as a person that doesn't want this gift. She just has it. She doesn't understand what to do with it. And she wants to help even though she knows it's going to affect her whole life. She grounds the entire film and makes you believe in everything that Raimi's selling throughout the film. That's my pick. The Gift. Anybody seen it?
I have.
Look into the blue diamond. That's all I got. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I saw it once a long time ago. I haven't revisited it. I probably should.
Who
did you say was naked in that?
Katie Holmes.
Oh, really?
Katie
Which
Holmes on the
was
top of a car.
Yeah, I'll have to put that at the top of my
If that's
list.
what gets you to watch it, I'm all for it.
Well, and the thing about that is, like, I didn't know that going into it, and Katie Holmes was in her prime, I think, around that time, or like it was after Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Crack.
And she was like the good girl that you never thought would be naked in a movie, and it just came out of nowhere, and everyone, I think I saw it in the theater, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" What did you know? So that was.
You saw it in the theater?
I think so. Yeah,
I'm impressed.
I'm not a huge Cate Blanchett fan. I'm actually a little bit opposite from you on that one because I
like her.
There's something about her that just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know.
I
what
wish
it
she'd
is.
rub me the wrong way.
Yeah,
I do.
Her Galadriel was so good.
But I will agree with you with Giovanni Ribisi and Keanu Reeves. Like
their
awesome.
scene where, you know what I'm talking about, with with the
Around
truck,
the
when he
truck,
goes into the truck and he just loses it, and you don't see it coming, just happens out of nowhere. I loved it. I could watch that scene over and over.
That was where I took Giovanni Ribisi seriously because I'd only seen him like in cameo roles on Friends where he played a freaking idiot, and just other stuff that just wasn't that big, and like, wow, this guy really can act. So
yeah,
and Keanu Reeves gets such a bad rap for Bill and Ted and whoa and stuff like that. So
whoa, man. Well, those are our picks: Captain Blood, High Fidelity, The Aristocrats, not the cartoon, and The Gift. Hopefully, one of those.
No, not the cartoon. Do not have your children watch this.
Yes.
Oh God, no.
Please don't mess that up.
Then we'll fucking see those children again in the theater that Justin's talking about. We did get one email from Mr. S. McGuire. It says, in response to our Hollywood hype machine topic from last week, he says, here's the truth about movies, is they, in most cases, are being made to make money. True. Not many are made to make a point or win Oscars, so they try to hit popular items and put in popular actors who are hot. Quotes. That's in quotes, by the way. The reason why trailers give so much away is because it is now expected. I do think the general public wouldn't know a good movie, artistic value, story, plot, etc., because people are doing what the Hollywood hype machine says. They're just basically cattle. I agree with that to some degree. I think that, unfortunately, people are accustomed to trailers giving everything away, so they're okay with it because nobody tries not to anymore. But I also see people are perfectly happy and they go see the same movies if they don't give everything away. It's just more companies don't do it because they're trying so hard to get every dollar back. They think they have to show the whole fucking movie. Just my 2 cents. But thank you, Mr. McGuire. I appreciate it. Everybody can reach us at HollywoodOutsider@Comcast.net. You can find us on Twitter at H_outsider. If you want to send any of us an email or the show itself, please feel free to use that. Again, that's HollywoodOutsider@Comcast.net. On Facebook, if you feel like making any comments or stupid notes or cussing out Scott Clark, Facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. And you can also go on TheHollywoodOutsider.com and play our podcast there if you don't know where to find them on iTunes or anything else. I want to thank everybody for coming. Anybody have any parting thoughts before we shut off and go to bed? Play old guys?
I might not be back for a little while.
Ever?
Well, no, for a while.
We're going to miss you.
Oh, yeah?
Are you going into rehab?
No.
No,
he's not admitted his problems yet.
That's a
first step, man. First step.
No, I started school this week. I'm actually in...
third grade.
No, I'm actually looking to teach third grade. I'm a elementary education major, and I got 9 credits this semester on top of my full-time job, so... more than one podcast might be a little much for me this semester, but we'll see what happens. So,
okay. What about Justin? Any parting thoughts?
Go see Conan.
I will see Conan.
Drive up that box office. It needs it.
You really want a sequel that bad?
I do. I think that they have. I always prefer when they get the origin stuff out of the way. I think they just focus on telling the story and not setting up the story. And I liked it. I definitely really liked it.
Good parting thought. Brian, anything before we leave?
I got nothing. I'm good.
Every time you ask Brian, you got any thoughts? No.
Nope.
I'm good.
Nope.
I'm good.
I know. I didn't have an opportunity to say that earlier, so sorry. I had to get it in there. But no, just I'm making a plea for some Twitter followers. Brian WMS, BRIAN WMS.
He's pimping himself. He's like, fuck the podcast.
That's right.
I need friends.
Or once you follow the Hollywood Outsider, you can probably find me from there. So I'm kind of new to the Twitter thing, so looking for followers. I'm pimping myself out. What can I say?
The true definition of a leader is somebody who has to pimp for followers.
Well, for pimping, I just recently went through my personal website and straightened up where I have all my short stories that I've posted up. I went through and actually tried to make them all uniform, and so that it looks a bit professional, and I put free PDFs attached to all of them that are posted. So if anybody's interested in reading the stuff that I've written, you can go to my website at justinmacumber.com, and all the short stories that I have available to read are on there. You can read them on the site. You can download the PDF. A couple of them you can actually purchase versions of. And I've also done audio dramas for all of my short stories, and they are all attached to those as well. So you can even give a listen to the days of yesteryear as seen through me and my computer.
And I have nothing cool like that to talk about. But I will, if you send me a letter, I will read it. And I will do it in dramatic fashion. I might even do it in a voice. I don't know. I can do it really...
Scott there, are you going to just start doing this naked?
I'm already doing it naked, Justin.
It's so bright.
TMI.
It's so bright and lanky. With that, this is the Hollywood Outsider Podcast. Thanks to everybody for listening, and please send us emails, comments, anything you want us to talk about. We will be addressing those if you send them to us. Thanks for listening, and take care. Remember, go to your local theater. Make sure to buy popcorn, because they don't make money if you don't.
Decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. And you're unable to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be
Yeah, the movie I will be flashbacking is The Aristocrats.
Like the cartoon?
No, that's the Aristocats, dumb fucks.
Wow!
Ba-bam! Sitting? Sorry, let me move my mic to cock level.
Jeez.
Are you mounting the
It
keyboard?
sounds like you are fucking the keyboard. As long as you show it who's boss, I'm fine with it.
There's a video game podcast I used to listen to that was
There's a shock.
That was drunk. I'm not doing it on air.
My name is Justin Macumber, and I usually do a much more listened to podcast than this, but I'm here for the love.
This is Brian, and I got itchy butt.
That's called herpes in some states.
I just wanna go home. And you're never to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. My love is blind, I just gotta clear my mind. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. You said I brought